Today, we are going to teach you what to look for if you're shopping for a Saturn Sky or a Pontiac GXP. I'm Justin.
And I am Aaron.
And this is Husman Bros. Before we go too much further, please subscribe for more content like this.
So you want a red car?
Want a red car? You want one made in America?
Here you go.
You want one under 20?
Roadster?
What you got?
Yeah.
This is a great car. These are fun little cars. Look for our comparison of the two in a different video, but today we're going to talk about buying these cars. Now, the good news is, when you're looking at these cars, as long as they've not been abused, the drivetrain on these cars is a very robust drivetrain. It's a standard 4-cylinder from GM, standard GM transmission. They use the transmission in Colorado.
I mean, these are bulletproof. I mean, they use these drivetrains on so many vehicles. There's tons of mechanical parts for these cars out there.
So as far as what to look for when buying one of these, there's no tricks, there's no IMS bearing like a Porsche. No. They're just a solid drivetrain. But the challenge with these cars is that they're 15 years old.
Yep.
And they are not parts bin cars. These are actually based on a European Opel that GM brought over for these two cars. And really, the only baffling decision when GM brought these over is, why did Saturn get this car? It doesn't make any sense. For Pontiac, it made a lot of sense.
They had 40 cars with Pontiac. It's the Sky.
Saturns were your minivan company. So these cars there's a base model, which is the same motor but naturally aspirated. There are the turbo versions, which in the Saturn is the red line and in the Pontiac is the GXP.
Yeah, there's also a coupe, which was made towards the end of production of these cars. And there is a Targa, but that's a super rare car. If you find one of those, make sure to give us a call because we want to review it and there's none around.
Now the Targas are Pontiac only, and the coupes are both cars, so you can find them in both cars. Now, what are the challenges with these cars if it's not drivetrain?
Let's start at the front because it is all cosmetic stuff here. And that's the thing, is we're not talking about a luxury car that was built to last forever. We're talking about a consumer grade vehicle. And
we're talking about a fairly small run of them. So we're going to have some availability issues. So start at the front. Tell us, what are the challenges here? So
the first challenge, of course, headlights.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, with these headlights, they're gonna get foggy. A lot of these cars sat outside. Many people did not just collect these cars. I knew plenty of people who were young and having fun and had one of these cars because they were a lot of fun and it was an inexpensive roadster to get into.
And as you see, GM made it complicated because even though there's a lot of these cars made all together, we're reduced by half because there are two different headlights. They can be polished, that's fine, but if you break one or your car doesn't have one that works, expect to spend a lot of money to get that fixed.
Yeah, and beyond that, you've got your standard plastic pieces on the front. These are low vehicles, and so if you're driving it around a lot in a city, you're gonna find a lot of places where you're hitting dips and scratching the bottom of that bumper. So there's some cosmetic issues you gotta look out for.
Look for those cracks. Make sure all of your grills are here. As you see, the two grills are different. Now I'm guessing the Pontiac lobes are probably the same as another one, but those fog light covers look a little different to me, so that's probably going to be a hard one to find. Now the Saturn does have chrome on it, and while it looks good, this is plastic chrome. It's going to be very hard to have this re-chrome, so when you're looking at your Saturn, make sure your chrome's not all eaten up. It's important because it's going to be either expensive to replace it or even more expensive to find someone who can actually chrome these plastic pieces. It's very hard to do.
So another thing with these cars, again, fast cars,
right.
And I mean, those brakes look okay, but they certainly do not look like super performance brakes. So plenty of people were driving these cars, driving them very fast, a lot of go, not enough whoa. So there were some accidents. These are Pontiacs, Saturns. The lines on them were not the best from the beginning. There was not a super high level of quality like you would have with a luxury car, a Porsche or something like that. When there are accidents, using aftermarket parts, they may not fit all that well together. So look at what you've got. The Carfax may not tell the whole story because it might have been inexpensive to just fix on your own at the shop with some aftermarket parts, aftermarket bumper, something like that. So you got to really look at the fitment of all the body panels on the vehicle to make sure you're getting a good one.
For sure. Now, if we go to the interior, you can see these two cars certainly have a different interior. The interior on this one, the dash and the center stack look to be mostly Saturn to me, and so that means that those parts are going to be fairly well available to you should you need them. This looks like it came out of a minivan, very much like a Viper, parts bin parts. Now when we get to this one, this is a different stack. So if we look at this car, you see the round vents, which look great, I think. So as you see, these open up this way. After nearly 20 years, there's a very good chance some of those vents are going to be broken. If you replace them with the original vents, it's going to cost you about 70 bucks a piece. Apparently, these are the same vents that are used on some bus, and you can buy them from a bus parts supply company for about 10 bucks a piece. So the broken vents on your GXP may not need to be a stopper. Again, find a local community. Now, here is one that should be a stopper. This is part of the convertible top here. If this is missing, the odds of you finding a replacement are slim to none. They did not make many extras, and again, we're many, many years removed from this. So all these little things, when you're looking for one of these cars, make sure this isn't missing. Don't let the buyer tell you, oh, we'll just find another one. It's not a big deal. It's a big deal. When we get to some of these parts that are this car only, this is low production, low volume, and these parts are going to be missing.
So as you can see with these special editions, they do have the GXP and the Sky Redline logos embossed or embroidered on the back of the seats here. These seats are going to get worn out. All seats get worn out. And so if you're looking at a car that has worn down seats, you better know a good upholsterer, because this is a great look. And this, if you've got the special edition of a vehicle and it's got the embroidery on the back of the seat, it is nice to always have that on there. So you'll want to make sure that either they're in great condition or you know a good guy. If it doesn't matter to you, I'm sure you can buy these regular skins for these seats. But if it does matter and you do want to be able to show this off, make sure you're paying attention to that and understanding how hard it's going to be to find this seat cover again. Since Saturn and Pontiac are no longer around, you can't just call them up and order more parts for it. Now, this has some cool features on the inside. A nice way that they did a good job designing it and hiding away things like this little glove box that you've got where you can store a couple of things as you're driving, and the cup holders as well. As you can imagine, those cup holders are going to be broken in some cars. I push it, see if it comes out, see if it's broken. If it is, determine whether or not it's worth it to pay for this car, because that's another part that's going to be very, very hard to find. And I would imagine with that, you're going to break some things even trying to replace it.
We'll talk now about some other interior pieces. Aaron covered a lot of things. So this piece, as you see, we've got some damage here, but that's removable. So that's probably able to be reupholstered. Not as much of a problem as this. So as we see here, this door handle does not work. Someone has tried to repair this, and you see the bad caulking job here. These door panels are very hard to find. Again, 15 years old or more, not a whole lot of them out there, and they're very expensive. Chris has told me that he's found one of these for a little over $500. He's hoping to find a better price, but he's going to have to do this to sell this car. Now, if we go back to the back here, here's the other big part that's going to be a challenge. As you see, internally, without any accident, this piece of plastic has just given out and ended up down here. These replacement taillights for a good used pair are also over $500. So a lot of times you'll deal with a car seller who says, oh, it's just little stuff, we can just replace it, it's not a big deal. On these cars, it rapidly becomes a big deal. Now, there are some good things like the vents. These handles are off a Chevy Cobalt. There will be plenty of parts of these cars that are parts bin parts that are probably still available. However, it's the little ones that'll get you.
With the Redline, with the GXP, they came with these chrome 5-star 18-inch wheels on it. These are great looking wheels, but if you have to replace one, it's going to be money out of pocket, and they can be scraped up, certainly. So pay attention to the wheels that you're getting on the car. So this one has a GM tune on it. Correct. So that was an option. Another thing to be looking for if you're out shopping for these cars is the factory performance exhaust that you can get on as well, exactly, which is on this car.
There are a couple other factory performance items that are available. If you're looking at these cars and someone says they have it, make them prove it to you.
Yeah. Now, we're not going to drive these cars in this video because you got to go watch another video to see that, but we did a comparison of the two, and we did a test drive of the Pontiac. So check out the link in the video below and go check that one out.
Thanks for watching. Let us know what other old ass cars you'd like us to review in the comments below. Thanks so much.
Come back and see us.